Hello gentle viewers, this is Guardian welcoming you to a special video about the future of one particular game on my channel, Trout Sorts Pro Football 2022. Now, if you saw yesterday's video, which I recorded last week as I usually do, you might be thinking to yourself, man, Abby really doesn't like the game, he's never going to play it again, which was my initial thought. I got so many comments on yesterday's video of people basically saying, I love this game, play more of it, it's my favorite game on your channel, that I kind of thought, like, really? Like, I saw that the view numbers were amazing, and I thought it was just, hey, people like new games, but I really didn't think of that. So, instead of, like, I'm not going to go back to that series. That series is dead, RIP previous series, but I will start a new one. What I'm calling my YT Reboot League, which still has some of the mods I'm using, but not all of them. Specifically, I'm not using a custom schedule, which actually leads us to getting a randomly generated schedule each season. In case you don't know how schedules work in the NFL, every team plays their division opponents 6 times, 3 times per team. They then play one division in the AFC, one division in the NFC, and then they have 2 to 3 games that are called strength of schedule games, where you're assigned teams based on how we did the season before. I think because there is no strength of schedule yet happening, that it's pretty much random. So for instance, we get the Vikings from the NFC North, we get the LA Chargers from the AFC West, and we get the... oh golly, I can't remember the other random team. The Houston Texans from the AFC South. So that's 3 teams that aren't part of any specific division we're meant to be playing. It's just 3 random games. It's supposed to be based on your strength of schedule, so that if you're a bad team, you get to play the easier teams. If you're a great team, you play the harder teams. So we're going to be playing the NFC South this season, and the guys of the Falcons, Saints, Panthers, and Buccaneers. And we're going to be playing the AFC East in the guise of the New England Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, the New York Jets, and the Miami Dolphins. That is who we're going to be playing this season, in addition to our 6 division games, 2 against the Steelers, Bengals, and Ravens each. Now, this means every season we're going to get a brand new schedule, and it's going to be a lot more fun and a lot more engaging, and I don't have to worry about playing the exact same teams every year. I'll play my divisional opponents every year, of course, and that's as it should be. But at least we're not like that. Now, I don't know the schedule in particular because, hoo boy, you don't want an early bye in an 18-game and a 17-game schedule because it means we play 14 games in a row, which is very yikes. I don't love that, but I'll deal with it. It's fine. Probably not. The other thing that I have done in this reboot is I've reset the financials again. But I found a surprising thing that I didn't expect when I was doing some analysis, and I think this was part of our issue. So let's talk about it. It is these numbers right here about the practice squad. The real NFL has a practice squad of, I believe, 7 players, maybe 8. Maybe it is 10. I don't remember. In any case, it's more than 1. And the practice squad is a way for players to participate in practice without actually playing in an actual game until they're activated, until their contract is purchased and they actually get a proper NFL minimum salary, instead of whatever the practice squad minimum is, which is a fraction of an actual NFL minimum salary. So, I bring all this up to point out that I've reduced it to 1 player, and I've reduced the practice squad maximum to 3 years. Why did I do this? I did this because with my higher minimums and the fact that this engine doesn't differentiate between practice squad minimums and NFL minimums, means players are basically allocating $20 million for a full practice squad, if not more. And that's just not sustainable. And that's cap room they'll never get back, because the AI is just going to keep filling its practice squad. instead of spending that money on veteran players, which is the key to succeeding in the NFL. So reduce the number of slots, and I've made it so that you can only have so much practice squad experience, which lets you use it more for what it's actually intended, which is a place to stash players that are a bit younger that just need some more experience. I might increase the number of slots, but I want to try my one slot solution for at least one season because it's something I can change anytime I want to, and we can see how that goes on going forward. The second decision I changed is I went back to the old minimums. I don't like it. It still feels kind of hacky to me to get that a quarterback makes the same amount as a wide receiver, makes the same amount as a kicker. But whatever. I am not going to cry hot tears over something that's fairly meaningless at the end of the day. This should hopefully also make sure that teams aren't sucking up a giant portion of their cap, signing filler players, or injury replacements. That is another thing that I wanted to make sure I fixed. Lastly, I have cut the maximums again by a bit more, I think. And we're going to see if that makes a difference. Now, there is one thing I'm very curious about, and I don't know actually how it works. I do not know how the game will react to players who are over what's actually the maximum contract. Is it just going to instantly cut them? Or if they're just going to go, yeah, that's fine. You don't have to cut them. You just can't sign a new player for that much money. So we shall see, my dear friends, how the game reacts. But my hope is this will fix the big issue, which is basically teams deciding to cut players for no good reason. A solution that a few of you recommended is don't enforce a strict cap. So in the actual NFL, what makes it a soft cap is that in the off season, you can be over the cap, and that's fine. You just have to be at or under the cap by the time the actual season starts. I believe you can also go over the cap during the season in very specific situations, but for the most part, that's what makes it a soft cap. It's not a year-round cap. Like, I think the Steelers, some team is like 30 million over the cap, like right now in real life. I can't remember who that is though. I thought it was the Steelers, but maybe it's somebody else. Maybe it's the Saints. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Anyway, in this game, there isn't a cap like that. The cap doesn't work that way. It's either on all the time or it's off all the time. And if you don't have strict cap on and just trust the game to use the soft cap, what happens is you just get ridiculous salaries. Like, you'll literally get players, teams having a cap of over $100 million that are over the cap. Like, there's no reason to be under the cap if you don't have strict cap on. And also, don't try to exceed cap for extensions. Got the other way, just get silly. I see drop penalty. You can basically, that's kind of a way to get to signing bonuses. That's kind of neat. Where if you cut a player, a portion of that is like dead cap, I think. That's interesting. I won't mess with that now, but I am very interested to see how that'll do. So that's where we are, my friends. That is what we're going to do. Beginning next Tuesday, we're going to be playing again, and we're going to be doing this stuff. We're going to be doing it with the new changes and see if that fixes things. Will the Chiefs cut Patrick Mahomes on day one of the season? They might. I mean, teams have a lot of cap space. The Jaguars have over $100 million in cap space, so I'm hoping that even if somebody like a Patrick Mahomes does get cut, that he is very quickly signed by someone that isn't me. I'm still going to impose upon myself that I'm not going to sign any 90-plus player that hits the in-season free agent market. I think that's how I'm going to justify it in my head. I may make the occasional exception under very specific circumstances, but on the whole, I ain't going to do it. I'm going to limit myself in that way, and we'll see what happens. I'm very eager to see how everything works out with these changes, and I'm hoping it'll result in a better product. where maybe rosters are smaller, but the very best players are the ones taking up that money, which is how it's intended to be, in my opinion. Um, so, the last thing I wanted to mention before I close out this video, as always, thank you for your amazing support. You are literally making me take a second look at this game that I was otherwise just going to dump and move on to something new. So thank you very much for that. I'm actually kind of excited to give it another try again, and see if things will go differently with a different schedule and with some of these financial changes. The other thing that I wanted to make sure everyone saw is that there will not be a tabletop simulator game next week. I'm taking a week off so I can kind of recompose myself for my Wednesday videos. But don't worry, it will be coming back. I'm just no more TTS for a week so that I can get caught up on some other things in real life as well as other things I just like to do. So, my friends, that is it for this episode. It's not even really an episode, it's just an introduction video. Share your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know if you think I should increase the practice squad size, if I should cut the salaries even more. Anything that makes it so that teams, generally speaking, have the option to keep their best players as long as they're smart about it. Until next time, my friends, this has been Guardian. Thank you so much for watching, and I bid you good day.